We don't need to build 2-nanometer chips. And there are already companies like Samsung that are trying to do different architectures of chips that are not just in 2 dimensions, for example, that are building up in 3 dimensions, or that have just a wraparound gate, or you can start playing with different architectures, maybe make a bigger one. It doesn't matter when a Bitcoin miner is a large machine, because you can just build a warehouse in the middle of Texas and have it mined there. So whenever you, in any innovative process, in any optimization problem, whenever you're trying to model an optimization problem, you have the problem of local and global minima. You have, or maxima. And when you don't change the boundary conditions of your innovation, you will get stuck in one local minimum and you will engineer the heck out of it. And that's where we've come with 2-nanometer nodes. We've stuck to silicon. We've reached kind of the end of Moore's law. We are just making silicon smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's great. Like, the innovation in that space, in lithography, is bordering magic. It's fantastic. But we will never get out of that local minimum of optimizing silicon if we never change the boundary conditions, if we only ever try to innovate for consumer electronics. But if we have now different boundary conditions, if we can make bigger gates, if we can use immersion cooling, we can use different architectures for chips, that's when we can get out of a local minimum and maybe try to find a global minimum in optimization and really innovate in this space and not just optimize.
Wow, that's really baffling. Very, very interesting what you're sharing with us here today. And I want to thank you so much.
I have one more question.
You got one more?
Yeah,
Right, let's go for it.
One last question. So
Yes.
right now, lots of chips are produced in China. So there is some type of centralization. We don't want to talk about if this is a problem or not, because I don't think it's a problem. I guess you maybe too, or maybe you can give your view on it. The more interesting question for me is, why are mostly the chips produced in China? Is it because the resources are there, or is it because they have the knowledge? Is it, or do you have to build the infrastructure to build the chips? So why is it that mostly?
Yes, so I can help you understand it that way maybe. To build a chip fab facility has a very, very large startup cost. In order to be at the very cutting edge of the smallest nodes, you have to have a lithography process that has actually been developed in the Netherlands, and it's just the one lithography machine is $150 million. There is no small companies that are going to get into this industry. It has to be an economy of scale, or else you won't be able to compete. So what I know is that people do try to compete, and Intel has actually dabbled in trying to make Bitcoin miners as well. Their specs weren't quite as good as the AND miners, but they haven't been able to justify producing it because there's just not enough demand for it. So even though more and more hash rate is being put online, hash rate is always at an all-time high. If we can, we will put more hash rate online. The market absorbs new generation miners very, very quickly. But the market itself is not large enough yet to justify a diverse multiple sources of chips. So there are a few on the market, but it's still whoever can whoever can spit out the most hashes for as little electricity as possible will basically consume the entire market.
And is actually chip producing, so let's go a bit off topic, so let's leave this Bitcoin topic. Is it actually a concern for national security? Because nowadays so much things are, you need chips everywhere. And if you have a chip shortage, actually your country is not running anymore. So is this a concern of national security?
I wouldn't put it as a concern for national security, but it is a concern for the local economy. So a lot of when we experienced the chip shortage, there was a lot of automobile manufacturers that weren't able to produce, and there's a lot of European economies, American economies do depend on chips to be incorporated in their products. But when it comes to national security, there's always redistribution that can happen, and I feel like that's whenever there's a shortage, they need chips for national security, they will prioritize that, and then the economy will suffer for it. So they will sacrifice the economy basically for the national security.
Wow. Let me ask you one thing. If people and listeners, viewers want to reach out to you,
Yes.
where can they find you and what's the easiest way to contact you? Are you willing to answer other questions for them as well?
I'm happy to answer questions. You can find me on Twitter. I'm Ellie Pembroke on Twitter, and you can find me. I've given interviews on YouTube and other platforms before. Please reach out. I'm happy to answer questions.
So thank you so much. If you want to find Ellie Pembroke, you just heard it. Find her online on Twitter. Give her a shout out. Let her know what you are interested in. And I want to thank you so much for being here, for jumping on.
Thank you for interviewing me. Not enough people are talking about semiconductors in the Bitcoin space, so I appreciate you giving me the platform and the opportunity to talk about it. It's super fun, and innovation just gives you hope for the future, right? Like it restores your faith in humanity a little bit, so I'm happy to be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.